Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, across the country, around the world. Welcome back to Planet Coaster WestCOT. Last episode, we built the pyramid. Whoop, whoop, okay, get out of free look. Just wanted it for that opening angle. This episode, we are going to work on our first of the World Showcase, the international countries, which is Spain, España, specifically Valencia, Spain, because it's a port city, and we want to focus on port cities, as well as I've been there, so I know a little bit of the things there. We'll get into that time lapse in a minute. I've actually already built that. It's going to go over here. This is a previous save, though. I wanted to show some of the things I was working on off camera. Largely lighting. As you can see, the plaza is very well lit now. We've got some nice little railings and the street lights and some benches going there. I use these street lights a lot of places because, you know, they're modern looking. I also put some of these big lights, the big floodlights on the monorail station to floodlight these areas because otherwise they were a little dim. As well as adding some down lights, some down and out lights on the sides of these to kind of point this way. It doesn't light everything, but it helps. Oh yeah, and I really like this element. Oh, did I not add one there? Pity. I put some up lights. Let's do one of those real quick. Is all part of a building? No? Okay, hold on. Cinematic is nice, but go away. Scenery. Nope, I'm sorry. It's actually a building thing, isn't it? Custom. Nope. Lights. Colorable area light. Except that balls. Except these are a slightly green color. I don't want the tree. I want the light. Oh, there's one down there. There we go. Oh, it is part of the building. Oh well. Still. Control X. Anyway, I put in these... Sorry, this is distracting for the moment. But I put in these uplights around these trees. And this is something that you see... Well, a lot of places. You know, you'll see it in your mall. But Disney does a lot of uplights into trees. It just helps focus them and light them and kind of draw your attention to them a little bit. Wow, those are all part of that building. Oh well. Anyway, I uplit those and that gives a nice glow to those little planted areas. Yeah, street lights here. I need more light here, although again, this is actually a previous save compared to the work I've done. This I extend. This I extend. I couldn't extend anything else, and I had to work on the cube. I kept getting a lot of people, a lot of guests stuck. Just randomly in the middle of an open path, they'd be, help me, I can't move, waving toward me up in the sky, saying, help me, move me, I can't move. And that's a weird pathing thing. I've also had, I don't, maybe I have too many paths, maybe there's too many, oh, see, here we go, like this guy. It'll say he's wandering, but he's not. Let's move him. And in theory, he should start... There we go, walking around. If you have a mechanic or a janitor who is just standing in one place, they're crashed. They're stuck. They're not working. Another thing I did was cleaned up the terrain around the pyramid here so that it is squarely underneath it. And that's all it is. So it's supposed to be some futuristic thing. I don't know. And then we expanded the lagoon, the fountain, out. And we're going to start going this way to do Spain. And I do some interesting buildings. I thought there was another... Again, this is an old save. So I thought there was another mechanic trapped on one of these bridges somewhere. No, I guess not. But yeah, I had a lot of weird things like that. I closed the park, and it took me half an hour to find all the stuck guests. Because they'd be stuck, there was a cluster of them stuck, under this tree, and I couldn't see them for... Oh, see, here, these guys. Help! And I don't know why. But you just gotta M for move, and that frees them. It's a weird thing. Also, I had to redo the queue for... Or not the queue, the exit queue inside here for the cube. Let's see. Oh, it's working right now. Unless the ride's down. Ah, the ride's broken down. Right, and there's a maintenance guy that can't get to it. So I've had to redo this queue, and we'll take a look at that at the end of this episode, though, because now it works. Anyway, that's it for that minor update on the plaza stuff. Now we're going to jump into the time lapse and start working on Spain. Alright, like I said, we're going to start working on the first of our World Showcase countries, and it's going to be Spain, Valencia, Spain, the city of Valencia. It's down on the eastern coast of Spain in the Mediterranean. And again, it is a country, it is a city I've been to, so I'm a little familiar with it. We did go near these buildings. Just across the street from this is the aquarium in Valencia, and it's one of the largest, something about it, I think it has the largest walk-through tunnel, because you can walk, underwater, those tunnels that goes under the aquarium. I think it has the largest tunnel like that. Anyway, that's not what this building is. What this building is going to become is going to be the, I'm not going to say it in Spanish, it is the what is the whole thing is called the City of Arts and Science, I think. Yeah, City of Arts and Science in Spain. And it's actually a series of 3 or 4 different buildings. One of them is an opera house, one of them is something else. But this one, oh yeah, an IMAX Cinema, Planetarium, and Laserium is one of the other ones. But this one is the Museum of Principles of Science. It's a science museum, and it has different things. It has stuff about what I'm trying to read the Wikipedia right now. It's got some exhibits for the legacy of science, chromosome forest. It's got a section for Zero Gravity, Space Academy, and apparently, hey, yay, Disney, a Marvel superheroes exhibition. And it's designed to resemble I just read it, where'd it go? It's designed to resemble the skeleton of a whale. So the real one, if you look it up on Google Images or whatever, it's way more pointy and flowy and janky than what I can create, given the stock parts here, without going super crazy and doing custom roofs and custom everything. I kept it simplified so that we could use the stock parts, and it has a similar architecture to the restaurant buildings up toward the front there, you see there, but it has its own character, especially that little square, that diamond-oriented square to the right there. When that comes together and I stretch this building out, that part, to me, looks a lot like what the real building in Spain looks like. I think it looks pretty neat when it's put together. Out here, these are some of the outer support. I don't think they actually support anything. I just think it's just an architectural thing, but it's what's there. This doesn't turn out 100% accurate in any way, shape, or form. It's close-ish. It has similar elements, and I think if you've never been there before, you would probably be able to, or even if you had been there before, you'd probably be able to say, "Oh, that looks like that," and yeah. So I started off with this side structure here, and it's a really long, skinny building. Like I said, it's supposed to resemble the skeleton of a whale. So I start with this slice of it here, this 1 tile wide piece here, and we're going to end up copying that and pasting that all the way across toward Chronoventure. Like I said, I was kind of struggling. What do I do? Roof pieces. Can I do this? Can I do that? There's nothing that would fit. The roof ends up being curved but flat, if that makes sense. It's one continuous piece all the way across. The real one in Valencia is very wavy and curvy and has lots of undulations to it. That's, again, unless I made custom everything for this, that was something that wasn't going to happen. And it's also not, the glass panels like this. It is glass panels, but not the opaque glass panels. It should be clear, transparent glass panels, but we don't have anything transparent in Planet Coaster, do we? So we go with that. It ends up looking like kind of an office building, but it turns out I'm pretty happy with it once it goes. And I think now I'm going to start copying. Yes, we're going to get it set up, and I'm going to start copying, pasting the right pieces to stretch this out in the layers that I want. And I'm quite happy with how with how it turned out there. I think we'll see it now. Yes. So there you can see with that little diamond square piece out toward that little point, that stretched down. The real one has, I think, like 21 or 22 of those little ribs. I go 24 just because it was a nice round number. And there I laid out those tiles to kind of give myself the gauge of it. And there it is. Yes. So when you get it all laid out, it looks, yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's simple Planet Coasterized version of it, but I think it turned out pretty close, close enough for me certainly. I had to struggle with these wall pieces for a moment there. Yeah, just because the way some of the things were set, which side of the square line it was on, but it turns out all right. Yeah. Anyway, I fairly happy with this, how it turned out. Now I'm just transposing one end from the other. But this building in Spain is the most modern building, or the set of buildings there are the most modern buildings in all of Spain. And they are what are they? Yeah, the whole thing is called the City of Arts and Sciences, that cluster of buildings. An entertainment-based cultural and architectural complex in Spain, most important modern tourist destination in the city of Valencia. Oh, and it's one of the 12 treasures of Spain. Yeah, and I could go on reading the history on the Wikipedia, but that's not what you're here for. But it's what I used here, and this, it is in the real city, and it will be here. It is quite the juxtaposition of the kind of ultra modern looking stuff versus some of the more traditional European stuff. And I've actually caught, after I've been to Spain, like I've seen in different TV shows, different clips, when they show, like, when they did the new V for Vendetta, or no, not V for Vendetta, sorry, V for Victory, the aliens, coming down, taking over alien ambassadors, et cetera, and they look human, but they're really like reptilian, whatever. Inside their spaceships is not this structure, but one of the other structures. I think the Opera House. It's a more curved looking one, more of a dome looking one, but they use these structures from Valencia in like any modern looking, futuristic looking thing. I've seen it in multiple TV shows and movies being used as like futuristic, like the epitome of futuristic stuff. All right, so we got it all framed out with concrete, which is good. There we go. And then I was looking at the layout. That's really long, but it ends up being good because it kind of hides Chrono Venture, the show building, because there's going to be the main path right next. I think we'll do that right now. The path next to those little square points. Yep, there we go. Oh, there we go, right there. And I got it to doing it, and I was like, oh, the path straight there, that works. So we end up not like that. We end up there. Yes, like that. And then I was like, you know what? Let's just square up the building to that path, because the path is set. It's done. Why mess with it? I get it pretty well lined up. And in the real one, there is a path. There is a pedestrian path at that level. I think it's actually supported by the structure of the building that sticks out there. Yeah. And it hides Chrono Venture. Like I said, you can't see the show building of Chrono Venture from there. So the next part was to expand the pedestrian path from the central island there where the pyramid is. And I was going to do like straight across, but Chrono Venture was in the way. I was going to do this and then curve it, but that big futuristic building is in the way. So I end up going with it like this. And we go there. And then once it cooperates, then we just curve it along next to it and then back there. And that's going to be the main path into and out of the Spain section of the World Showcase. I thought a path here, straight down. Nope. So we end up going sideways. And that's good. It'll give me something to hide that behind or put a store there or something. And that's about it for that. And that's the main layout for getting to the Spanish Pavilion, the Valencia Pavilion. I didn't have supports, and I was like, supports? No, don't want it. I went to nighttime to see what this looks like. I ended up lighting this. I don't like the other section, or the other building, because I forgot. But we light this with these guys and some of the other big uplights, the big giant floodlights, and on the ends, and it looks pretty cool, I think. I think it gives it just enough light. Yeah, those guys. And hey, there's tiles to center those on, so that makes life really, really easy. That's about it for that one. It looks really, really good. I'm really pleased how it came out. I think it has just enough of the character down that tunnel of the real one to allow me to get by. Here I'm looking at the rest of the layout. All right, and next we're going into, like I said, a bit of the juxtaposition. The next structure we're going to build is an old gate. It's called the Serranos Gates. I believe, I should have done my research, and I could probably check with my wife because she would know, or my mother-in-law, but I believe Valencia was an old walled city. And this was the gate you used to have to go through to get into the city. It's a big tourist item, etc., etc. And I was struggling to get these colors correct because it's kind of a yellowish tan. But the castle pieces, the octagonal castle pieces, perfect for this because it is an octagonal, tower structure. I was really happy and pleased to find all these pieces that would fit and be correct. The color, we struggled to find the right color. It looks correct on this side, or well, on the back side that's lit. The shadowed side, it looks a little too greeny for me, but it ends up being pretty close to the correct color. And that's about what the front side looks like. I end up modifying that because of the way the back side structures out. And in reality, the castle, quote, castle gate path there, that's that big curved archway, it would be like a one tile wide thing, but for the just throughput of guests into the area, I did it with the double wide. It's a little bit of artistic license just so that, you have the guest flow through there. Good. And then there are those, like that pointed archway there. There are these, what I'm going to do end up being, I think, 5 of these across the backside. Yes. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 more up and up. But unfortunately, that's too tall. So I had to reconfigure the front side. And that was, it's not quite correctly proportional, but it's pretty close. So I'm going to go with it. And again, it's inside a Disney park. So we all have a little bit of artistic license to stretch things a little bit, forced perspective and whatnot. But yeah, I was really pleased that I could do this building with just the castle pieces. I was really, really quite tickled that it worked out correctly. And the color's good. Yeah, get rid of those clipping pieces. There we go. Yeah. I think in the real building, actually, I don't know if there's anything in the real building. I think there's like a doorway on this left section here, but I'm not going to put anything there. I might put like a door, like, a scenery piece, a building piece door, just to show like, hey, you can access it here, or it could be, but I don't feel the need to. And that's the Serranos Gate completed for now. I'll light it again later, but now I'm going to go back to past me because I already recorded this part for the real-time video. All right, well, there you have what we've got so far for the Spain Pavilion. It's not much, but it took a while because it was a lot of fiddly work, especially with all these little beams and things. Not quite. It's as close an approximation as I can make it given the parts in the game, and given my skill level. But it's pretty decent. And then the Serranos Gates, I think turned out pretty close. I like the backside too, that if you look it up online, this is a lot like what it looks like, all these pointed archways. And I might fill those in with more archways, staggered, kind of like what we did down at this level here, but for another time. Something else, though, I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, something else that I worked on when I actually closed the park and had all those guests stuck. I did extend the queues over here for these guys because they were just a little ridiculous. And this is still ridiculous. Sheesh. Yeah. So we knocked out a wall inside there, extended the pure priority pass queue, and this is still, I added, 8-10 tiles more there, and it's still backing up onto the path. It's crazy. I know it doesn't have that great a throughput, but oh well. And then, yes, the Gears of Fear, whatever, Warehouse 65, we did this extended queue here too. This wasn't gridded that well, or it didn't want to be on a grid. It was being stupid. So this is the stupid curved little thing we have here. It's okay. It works. It does what I needed to do. Did I do anything else that you guys couldn't see? I don't think so. I think everything else is pretty well taken care of. I couldn't really do much to Chrono Venture because that queue, that it's so built into the layout of the building. I don't think I can double anything up anywhere. Did this break down? No, there's just very little queue for it. Okay, that's cool. Before I closed the park, this queue was like back to here. Not huge, but it was backed up quite a bit. A lot of people going into the store though. Maybe the ride had broken down or something. Wow, lots of people going in here. What is up with that? Hold on, T, lower. It's like they're all going. Oh, this is the one place with souvenirs. So because the park kind of recently reopened, everybody and their mother is going there for souvenirs. I see. Okay, so that's something to think about adding somewhere. Maybe you put something here to kind of fill up this space. Because these spaces over here... Oh, no, yeah, I could do this. I could do a similar treatment over here. Yeah, we'll do that, I think. Off camera, I'll add some stores for other souvenirs here and here. Yeah. Oh yeah, something else I didn't mention, but it's there. I got the monorail set up to duck down underground, and then it'll pop out probably somewhere underground, like right here. And there'll be entrance and exit to the monorail here, and then it'll connect there. We'll have it on the 4 points of the compass, more or less. At the entrance, we'll have it over here in whatever I put here. I'm not entirely sure yet. Obviously one at Spain, and then back here in the US, which is going to be San Diego. That's a big mountainous thing. That's kind of annoying for what I want to do, but not insurmountable. And looking at the park boundaries, we still have lots of space to work with. For the Spain, I don't know if I mentioned this in the time-lapse because I haven't recorded that voiceover yet, but we've obviously got the City of Arts and Sciences, I think. I'm probably calling that 4 different things, but that's kind of what it is. The Serranos Gates. We'll put a few like buildings here to kind of cover it in. Maybe a few here as well, although here we might branch out to like the next country. Yeah, that next country should be just like right in here, because then the US will be here. Yes, okay. Anyway, laying out in my head on camera. Oh, go away. But here we'll have this. I don't even know if it's gonna be this deep. But I'm gonna do a plaza here. That is one I visited with Neptune's fountain, and I actually have a picture of my wife and I there when we went. So I have some reference to go off of for that a little bit. So yeah, that'll be that, and then we're gonna have one big coaster out, probably I think kind of out behind Chrono Venture a little bit into that corner, maybe up into those hills, which are fitting, and then we'll throw in some windmills. And if you know anything about Spanish culture and literature, that should have given you a big hint about what the theme of that roller coaster will be. Windmills. Tally ho. Yeah. So far, so good. I think this Spain build, though, will take probably definitely one more episode, probably 2 more episodes to finish up the like little town, little detail stuff of it, and then another one for the roller coaster and its stiff in the station and whatnot. But that's it for this episode of Planet Coaster WestCOT. If you like, hit subscribe, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, pass the word. I will catch you later.